Everyone heard him yelling. No one moved. Joggers kept running. Parents looked away. But Margot Robbie stood up from her park bench and walked straight toward the man screaming at an old woman with a walker. The sun blazed over Griffith Park, Los Angeles, a rare Saturday where Margot could blend into the crowd. She wore a baseball cap, sunglasses, and a loose hoodie, her script of The Great Gatsby dog-eared on the bench. She'd been savoring the quiet, the rustle of pages mixing with birdsong, when the man's voice sliced through. "Watch where you're going, lady," he bellowed, looming over an elderly woman whose walker had grazed his bike, now tipped over on the grass. The woman, frail, her white hair catching the breeze, clutched the walker's handles, her shoulders trembling. "I'm sorry," she whispered, barely audible. "I didn't mean." "You didn't mean?" the man mocked, stepping closer. "You old people think you own the place." His face was red, veins bulging, a middle-aged guy in a too-tight polo shirt, his bike a shiny midlife crisis. The woman shrank back, her eyes darting for an escape that wasn't there. Margot's pulse quickened. She scanned the park. A jogger glanced but kept moving. A mom pulled her kid closer, whispering to look away. The bystander effect in full swing, everyone waiting for someone else to act. She'd read about it in psych books, seen it in cities, felt it herself sometimes. But not today. Her jaw tightened. She set her book down, pages fluttering, and stood. Her sneakers crunched on the path as she approached, each step deliberate. The man was still ranting, pointing at the woman's walker like it was a weapon. Margot's voice cut through, calm but steel-edged. "Hey, that's enough." Heads turned. The man spun, startled, his eyes narrowing as he registered her face, half hidden under the cap. "Who the hell are you?" he snapped, but there was a flicker of recognition. She didn't flinch. "Someone who knows you don't yell at people like that. Back off." The elderly woman looked up, her eyes wide, grateful but scared. The man's face twisted, caught between rage and the growing eyes of the crowd. He took a step toward Margot, finger jabbing the air. "Mind your own business," he shouted, spit flying. The park seemed to hold its breath. Margot stood her ground, heart pounding, her gaze locked on his. She wasn't backing down. The crowd thickened, a loose circle of onlookers forming around the scene. Phones came out, held at angles, capturing the standoff. Margot didn't notice. Her focus was the man, his puffed chest, his clenched fists, the way his voice cracked when he yelled. "You think you're some hero?" he sneered, stepping closer. "This ain't your movie set, sweetheart." The word dripped with venom, meant to cut. It didn't. Margot's mind flashed to her grandmother, Nan, back in Queensland. The way her hand shook pouring tea after a fall, but her eyes still sparked with defiance. Nan would have hated this guy. "You're scaring her," Margot said, voice low, steady. "Walk away. Now." The elderly woman, Rose, Margot would later learn, clutched her walker tighter, her lips moving silently, like a prayer. The man laughed, a harsh bark, but his eyes darted to the crowd. A teenage girl held her phone high, filming. "Oh, great. Another viral wannabe," he muttered, then pointed at Rose. "She started it. Knocked my bike over." Rose shook her head, voice trembling. "It was an accident." Margot stepped between them, a human shield. "Accidents happen. You don't get to scream at her for it." Her calm seemed to enrage him more. He leaned in, breath hot with coffee and anger. "You don't tell me what to do." For a moment, Margot's stomach twisted, fear, raw and real. Fame didn't make her bulletproof. But she thought of Nan again, alone at 80, how the world could feel like it was built to forget you. She straightened. "I just did." The crowd murmured. A park officer appeared, drawn by the noise, his radio crackling. Margot kept her eyes on the man as she spoke to the officer, explaining in clipped sentences. The man deflated, muttering curses, grabbing his bike. "Whatever," he spat, storming off. The officer followed, taking notes. Rose exhaled, tears brimming. "Thank you," she whispered. Margot touched her arm, soft but firm. "You okay?" Rose nodded, but her eyes were distant. The crowd dispersed, some still filming. Margot helped Rose to a bench, her own hands shaking now. She didn't notice the video spreading online, racking up views. She didn't know Rose had slipped away while she spoke to the officer, her walker's wheels squeaking faintly into the distance. By the time Margot turned back, Rose was gone. The park felt emptier, and a strange unease settled in her chest. Margot couldn't shake it. The video was everywhere. X, Instagram, news sites. Margot Robbie confronts bully in park, screamed headlines. Comments called her a hero, a queen, but she didn't feel it. She kept seeing Rose's face, Those wide, weary eyes, the way her hands gripped the walker like it was her only anchor. Who was she? Why did she vanish? Back in her apartment, Margot scrolled through the viral clip, pausing on Rose Raspberry Jam. Rose's hunched figure in the background, barely visible. No one seemed to know her. Margot's assistant, Jin, warned her to let it go. Paparazzi were already sniffing around. But Margot couldn't. She called a friend at the park's security office, got a grainy camera still of Rose leaving the scene. Thin, white-haired, a faded blue coat. It wasn't much, but it was enough. She tracked Rose down through a local senior center, a quiet place with peeling paint. Rose lived alone in a small apartment nearby. No family, no visitors. Margot knocked on her door, heart in her throat. Rose opened it, blinking in surprise. "You're that girl from the park." Her voice was soft, cracked with age. Margot smiled. "Margot, can I come in?" The apartment smelled of lavender and old books. Rose offered tea, her hands unsteady but proud. They sat, and Rose talked about losing her husband young, her kids moving far away, the loneliness that crept in like damp. "I don't go out much," she admitted. "That day, I almost stayed home." Margot's throat tightened. She shared stories of Nan, the farm, the way small kindnesses could change everything. Rose's eyes glistened. "You didn't have to help me." "Yes, I did," Margot said softly. They talked for hours, the world outside fading. Rose confessed her fear of being invisible, a ghost in her own city. Margot listened, her own fame feeling small against Rose's quiet strength. As she left, Rose grabbed her hand. "You're a good one." Margot hugged her, promising to return. But as she drove away, Rose's words echoed. "I almost didn't go to the park that day." Margot didn't tell the press. She didn't post about it. But she acted. She called park officials, local leaders, and quietly pushed for respect hours, early mornings reserved for seniors to walk, sit, exist without fear. Named after Rose, though only Margot knew that. The program spread, park by park, a ripple of dignity. She visited Rose weekly, bringing coffee, stories, laughter. Rose's apartment grew brighter, photos of new park friends on her fridge. The viral video faded, replaced by newer scandals. Margot didn't care. She'd sit with Rose, listening to old jazz records, talking about life's small victories. One day, Rose showed her a letter from her son, reaching out after years. "Your fault?" Rose teased, smiling. Margot laughed, her heart full. She never wanted applause. She just wanted someone to matter. And that day she did. The park felt different now. Margot would walk there sometimes, her cap low, watching seniors chat during respect hours. Rose joined her once, walker steady, eyes bright. "You started something," Rose said. Margot shrugged, grinning. "We both did." They sat on a bench, the same one where it all began, the world moving around them. For once, it felt right.